second, and then I'm going to... Sorry, I was eating. That was why my food came. Let me make sure that I am... Alright, I think we are good to go. I'm sorry that I was silent for like 15 minutes because I got food, so. Alright, let me ignore this real quick. This is gonna get real loud real quick. Okay, actually, I'm going to play this on my Xbox controller instead, because that's just easier. Alright. There we go. There we go. I think I should also windowed. Can this work? Make sure everyone can see the stream. No, you can't. Cool. All right. Good to know. Oh my god. Great. Good job, me. Hold on real quick. Screen capture. There we go. All right. Hopefully now you could actually see my screen. Let me see if it shows up on stream. And let me see if it actually, if I sound good. Okay, wow, this is off to a great start, guys. Why can I not see it? Sound is quite. the screen is black. I haven't streamed in like a long time, so pardon me if I don't remember how to do this. Oh, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Capture a specific window. I am using Streamlabs. It's what I've always been using to stream. I want to make sure also that the music is not too loud. Alright. I think we're good now. Mr. McToast, you are my only hope right now. I think also I should probably just turn down my music on my end, because this game is loud. Alright, I think we're good now. Okay, now quick things before we start. Number one, I've seen gameplay of Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Like, I know like some bits and pieces of it, but I've never actually finished it. All these other games, I think I've heard. All these other ones on here, I've seen the characters, but I've not, I don't know the plot of them. So let me, let's get my glasses on. There we go. Alright. So, in that case, please chat, no spoilers. Okay? I'm going through this completely blind. It has been a very long time since I've seen gameplay of Ace Attorney, so yeah. Also, I don't have any friends with me right now, so I'm going to be voicing all these characters. Oops. I remember this though. This was awesome. Yes, I have a Sprit and I got water. Showdown time. You lose. Art. Anime. I seem to be in a bit of trouble. Something like that. Dead. Someone hit him hard. Me? Please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should have come to that. Anime. I'm so excited. April 20th, 9:37 District Court. Defendant lobby. panicked. Palms sweaty. I can admit it. I'm nervous. Ah, good morning. Oh, Kristoff. Oh. Ah, good morning, sir! You look tense, Justice. Wound up tight. Wound up, sir? No! I'm loose! I'm fine! That screeching noise. Is that your voice? I suppose it's to be expected. Your first trial and it's a homicide. I guess justice doesn't start small, eh? I'm fine! I gotta prepare my hand to do my chords of steel voice workout. I'm fine! That explains it. I did detect a certain rasping quality to your speech. I overdid it again. That was not a sneeze, I coughed. Whew. Oh, this man. As you know, your client today is a good friend of mine. I wouldn't want to let him down, if you get my drift. Drift gotten, sir! I'm all over that drift! As it happens, I dined with him the night of the murder. We can't let this case fall through. Yes, I'm fine, sir! One more thing. Don't say you're fine quite so much. People might take you the wrong way. Go. I'll be preparing our case. You might want to introduce yourself to the client. My name is Apollo Justice. And if it isn't clear already, I'm a new attorney. And today is my first trial. Not that I'm worried or anything. The defendant has been accused of murder. My boss wants to help him out, of course, and so do I. I mean, there's no way he did it. Not him, no way! Oh, it him. Whoa! Good morning. Morning. It's all up to you today. First trial. Nervous. Meeting him. Cardiac arrest. I think I'm supposed to say something. Help? So you're... Fine! I'm fine! Mr. Fine, is it? I didn't remember you having an odd name. Oh, well, we're off to a great start. Are you sure you're okay? I mean, with me? Mr. Gavin is a top-notch defense attorney, and he's your friend, so why... You'll see. You can do it. Be confident. I'm really sorry this happened to you. I mean, it's time. Shall we? Yes, sir! Okay, I need to focus. First trial. Excuse me, here comes justice! 10 a.m. District Court. Look at it! Oh my god, it's so buttery smooth! The court is now in session. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor! I'm going blank, don't panic. It's too late! Your name was Mr. Justice. And this is your first trial? Yes, Your Honor. But, I'm fine, really. Are you quite sure? Your voice sounds a bit strange. Mr. Gavin? Yes, Your Honor. I was under the impression that you would be heading up this case. That would be my intention, yes. However, a defense attorney must always cede to his client's wishes. I just realized I'm pressing B. And my client specifically requested Mr. Justice. Well, of course he wants justice. But to entrust this case to this greenhorn, why? I do not exaggerate when I say that you're the best defense attorney in town, Mr. Gavin. Okay, so Gavin's got trial experience, fine, but does he have cords of steel? He's German! Then let's begin. The defendant may enter the courtroom. This is truly an unfortunate turn of events. I'm sorry we had to meet again under these circumstances. Long time no see, Mr. Wright. Let's put the past behind us, shall we? These days, I'm merely Phoenix Wright, piano player. Mr. Wright, how could this have happened? I won't speak of it further then. If the prosecution would be so kind as to explain the charges, Mr. Payne.
Do you think I saw you enter this room a fresh attorney, and now I'll see you leave in chains?
Winston Payne, subtle as ever, I see.
Ahem. The crime occurred at the Borscht Bull Club, a Russian restaurant. The defendant, Phoenix Ray, took the victim, a customer, and he hit him, wham, on the head, smack, killed him cold.
A customer at the restaurant, you say? And the defendant, you say he was
the pianist for the club, it seems.
Phoenix Wright, a pianist.
This is the weapon that took the victim's life, a bottle of grape juice.
Are we sure it's grape juice?
Grape juice is apparently our defendant's drink of choice.
A court accepts this deadly bottle as evidence. Something to note, Justice. All evidence is filed in the court records. Make a practice of checking it frequently. Court record. Right! I've heard of it. Use right bumper. That is not right bumper. How high do I yearn for one of these? We got crime photo. We got submits. Deadly bottle. To look at the evidence so far. I'm confident in your ability to handle this. Right, just use RB. Sounds like it's time for some hands-on action. So the victim was a customer at this restaurant. But just who was this, Shady Smith fellow?
We believe he was a traveler, Your Honor.
A traveler?
According to his passport, he has been out of the country for a number of years. He had only returned to this country recently, though his place of residence is unclear. I'm going to do this the unactually voice for Mr. Payne.
And he has some sort of connection with the defendant?
That too is unclear at present, Your Honor. We believe they first met at the Borscht Bull Club on the night of the crime.
If they had only just met, then why murder? Perhaps the victim slighted the defendant's piano playing?
That doesn't appear to have been the case. No, the motive had nothing to do with the defendant's lack of playing skills. At least not piano playing. I'll let this photo explain what I mean. As we can see, a game of poker was in progress at the scene of the crime.
Wait a second. Isn't poker gambling? That's a crime in of itself.
Indeed, it appears the defendant has fallen to become the basest sort of criminal.
It is true that the defendant has engaged in a game of poker with the victim, yet it is only that, a game in the pure sense, a competition, Your Honor.
A competition?
Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passion. Only the cards, their backs wretched in blue flame, know its final outcome. Come again?
The cards on the table had blue backs, Your Honor. I believe the defense was waxing poetic in an attempt to mystify those present and impress women.
That will be our first order of business here, then, to find out more about this fatal game of cards. Very well, defendant. You will testify to the court about the poker competition held that night of the crime. My pleasure. This is it. My first trial. Here goes nothing. Higai! Witness test. I'm a pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play at all. My real job is to take on interested customers over at the poker table. The room where we play at the competition and there are the club's main attractions. The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. That's all it is. A game, and our customers are happy. A pianist who can't play piano.
Better than a defendant who can't defend.
Very well, the defense may begin the cross-examination. Right, Your Honor! My first cross-examination. Don't blow it! Are you alright? You're sweating bullets. Bullets? Where? It's a figure of speech, Justice. Your voice sounds strained and raspy. My brain feels strained and raspy, sir. You've watched me perform cross-examinations many times, though you've never done one yourself, have you? Care for a refresher? What do I do? I would like one, please. Better safe than sorry, especially this early in the game. Yes, teach me! I know nothing. Indeed, your job, Justice, is to be mindful of the court record and the testimony. Look for inconsistencies in the testimony with what the court record tells you. When you found an inconsistency, that's when you present the conflicting evidence from the court record with right bumper. But I didn't hear anything strange at all in the testimony just now. A good sign that you need to press the witness with left bumper for more information. Press him. Don't let the fact that he's a remarkable man hold you back. Get more information. But isn't Mr. Wright my client? Well, think you can do it? Yes! Thank you, sir! I think I can do it. I think you'd better, or we're going to have a problem. Just remember, find any inconsistencies, any lies in the testimony, and reveal them to the court. That is cross-examination. Learn it. Know it. Do it. Inconsistencies. Lies. Phoenix Wright? That's him. Phoenix Wright would never lie, and it's up to me to prove it. The defense may begin the cross-examination. And this is what we do. Press every single one. I'm pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play at all. Hold it! You can hardly play? Oh, I play sometimes, when customers demand it. So I played them one song. That's usually all they want. Was that supposed to be a boast just now? The title of the pianist is a mask, a respectable face I wear for a world at large. Now, why are you really at the Borscht Bowl Club? My real job is to take on interest... They pay you just to play poker? That would seem to be the case. I'm a professional, after all.
Bah! Do I detect pride in that statement? It's just hard for an honest, hard-working member of society like me to imagine.
Yes, your imagination was always a bit limited, Winston.
What?!
I've played poker for 7 years in that little room, and I've never lost once. What? You see why the customers come now? Defeat the undefeated poker champion? It's quite a draw. That is, I'm quite a draw. Wait, you've never lost once? Not even one time? As I said, I'm a professional. He's played poker for 7 years and not lost once. Is that even possible? The room we play in the competition in there are the club's main... Hold it! The room in the crime scene photo is an attraction. It has quite a history, actually. The Borscht Bowl Club used to be a gathering spot for black market types back in the day. Black market? All in the past, things like the black market are only on silver screens nowadays. Suffice it to say that there were a lot of deals being made under the table. Right there in that room. A smoky room, gambling hoods, you know. Just looking at this picture makes me feel bad. The bosses gather around the table, counting deals safe from the eyes of the law. Meanwhile, a goon keeps watch through a small window. I can practically picture it now. That window on the top, I just realized. Be good for keeping a lookout, but little else. There might be other tricks to it, though it was common knowledge to our regulars. At any rate, they come to play poker in a room steeped in history. Despite the dark past, it was just all good, clean fun. We play poker. 2 decks of cards? A simple measure to prevent cheating. If you alternate 2 decks, no one can slip in cards. There's something else I noticed. In addition to the cards on the table, there are some lying scattered on the floor. Precisely. Cards on the table, cards upon the floor. Each one forming a complete deck. A crime scene painted blue by a sad sweep of cards. It's poetic. Incidentally, we use 2 types of cards at that club. One deck of cards was red, the other blue. As I recall, in poker, you make 5-card hands. I can see how it would be easy to cheat. Yeah, a game of hands. Huh? Anime. This competition you're talking about, I believe the court understands the nature of the game sufficiently. That's right! It was a simple game after all. Are you sure? Huh? People are not murdered over simple games, Mr. Justice. Defendant, you were in the room at the very moment that crime occurred, yet you claim no connection to the crime? That's strange. What's strange? I was testifying about the competition that night. Asking me about the crime at this point is against the rules, Your Honor. Of course, I expected to hear a cry of objection from the defense. I completely let that one slip by. Don't despair yet, Justice. Sir? Right. There is something I'd like to make clear. Namely, your connection to the case at hand, and I'd like to hear it from you. Sure, why not? Very well, the defendant will amend this testimony. Just one little press, and I've got myself a whole new testimony. That's why you gotta press every statement! I plead Hold it! Silence. The defendant has the right to refuse to testify. I haven't forgotten everything about the law. But why? That clearly puts you at a disadvantage. And it's your job to turn that around in our favor, yes? Great, like I didn't have enough to do already. The Justice, didn't you detect anything odd about that testimony? Huh? Something you said did ring a little strangely. Just one thing. Now, what was it? When you figure it out, I suggest presenting evidence. A contradiction of Mr. Wright's testimony. Why? I'd better check the court records. Mr. Wright lied. A little early to be jumping to conclusions. This is your first cross-examination. Take it slow. If you need more information, don't forget to press. Right! I got it. I'm fine. I want to go to the very last one. Let me... Can I just check court record? Oh my god! No clues here. Grape juice. How long has it been since I drank grape juice? Apparently Mr. Wright's favorite drink. I wonder how well it goes with borscht. Yo, borscht is... The bottle is completely empty. It sure is. Okay, I can't examine that. Shady Smith. Blunt trauma to forehead. The cork is missing! No. I know that Phoenix Wright is all about, like, super stupid, super, stingy evidence. Can I not check this? Damn it. I forgot to press this one. So you claim you weren't gambling? You didn't bet any money, not even a little? The only thing at stake in our game was pride itself. Oh, well put, Mr. Wright. I've got a mind to play a hand of poker myself. Stakes, your fate. Can we get back to the trial now? Is there any... So it's sad to say I'm already stumped. Oh, it bears the defendant's prints. Wait a second! Wait a second! Objection! So you say you didn't touch the murder weapon, this grape juice bottle, right? So I said. Something the matter, Mr. Justice?
Too bad our new defense attorney never learned how to play dumb.
What's this, Mr.
I examined the bottle in question, you see, and it was covered with the defendant's fingerprints.
Objection! No need to shout, Mr. Justice. I can hear you just fine. Excess yelling can damage the judge's ears in a dark case. But what about my courts of steel? Anyway, what's so strange about fingerprints on a bottle in a restaurant? Well, that's true. The prints alone don't prove...
Oh, they wouldn't prove a thing if they were normal fingerprints.
Huh?
But the fingerprints on the murder weapon were upside down.
What does that mean?
It means with holding the bottle inverted, and there could be only one reason for that.
Yeet!
Yes. To burn someone with the bottle.
Ah! I love him and his stupid face. I love Apollo. Mr. Gavin, I think things just took a turn for the worst. Oh? I see no problem, Justice. Huh? The only thing that matters is the truth. There's a good reason for everything you see. You'll see, sorry. Defendant, can you explain your fingerprints on the bottles to the court? I stand by my plea of silence regarding the murder. For now. Not very cooperative, are you? This could hurt your case.
I'm sure he's uncooperative because he's hiding something. There must be some reason.
Your Honor, you seem to have forgotten something. And what might that be, Mr. Gavin? On the night of the crime, who was it who reported the murder to the police? Reported?
Well, that was the defendant, Mr. Wright, but still, that...
Really?
Yes, well, according to the case file, the murder was reported from near the scene by a call from the defendant's cell phone.
Near the scene?
Let's take a look at the diagram of the murder scene, shall we? And when I look at this to examine, the victim was murdered upstairs in a small room in a basement 2 floors down from the ground level. Of course, cell phones can't get reception so far down. The defendant used the stairs in this hallway to go above ground. The call came from the first floor of the restaurant.
I see, and this is the phone that made the call? The defendant could have just fled the scene of the crime if he so chose. Yet he fulfilled his duty as a citizen and reported to the authorities. And you claim he is being uncooperative? Nice save, Mr. Gavin. I better not waste this. I think the prosecution has toyed with our client enough for the time being.
Toyed? I assure you no one is more serious about...
What was it you said? The defendant was in the room at the very moment that the crime occurred? How can you possibly know this? That's a good question. How indeed? The answer is simple, Your Honor. The prosecution has has a decisive witness.
You're as good as they say you are.
Someone who was in the room on the night of the crime. Must have been they witnessed the crime. Everything up until now has been a warm-up, Justice. Are you ready? Very well. The prosecution may call its first witness to the stand. I love her. I love Olga.
The witness will state her name and profession.
Hold on just a moment. Where's the witness?
I surmise that she's been fighted by the defendant's demonic-looking horn.
So I used a little hair gel. Relax, people. Have no fear. If any horns point in your directions, the court will cut them off. You sure? I swear it on my gavel. Please, come out. Isn't violence against hair a crime, Your Honor? Well, if you are sure it is okay. Now, the prosecution... wait a minute. Would the prosecution care to explain the witness's, paraphernalia?
Yes. She is a professional, Your Honor. These are merely the tools of her trade.
That would be... My name is Olga Willy. I am employed as waitress in Borscht Bull Club restaurant. And why the camera? Of course, it is my pride to serve borscht, that is naming restaurant. But I also perform, how it is said, other service. I take it one of those is taking the customer's pictures.
Dada. Like, for example, this one.
That's the defendant.
Indeed, on the night of the murder.
Man in white hat is one who has gone kaput. Indeed, that is the victim. Order, order! This is quite a piece of evidence to casually drop into our laps. It is the same way as I drop cold bowls of borscht on laps of customers casually. That the court will casually accept this new evidence.
Now, witness, where were you at the time of the murder?
I was in the room, the hideout, we call it. Excuse me, the hideout? It is room where famous gangster bad guy was arrested. Is room where murder took place. What? Oh, you look of utter surprise. It is lovely. I will post by courtroom door later for you. Da. Photos will be numbered and you will write which one you want a copy of. So there were 3 people in the room at the time of the crime. The victim, Shady Smith, the Mr. Wright, and Olga O'Reilly, our witness. And if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, that means... Very well, witness. You will testify to the court about the night's events. I play the Great Ace Attorney on Switch, and I have those moments of looking at the evidence and realizing I skimmed through the descriptions of some of them, and I'm like, wait a second! That night, customer asked me to deal cards for game. It was cold, and both players played with hats on. The victims, he plays full time with his hand on locket at his neck.
Then, last hand is done, but something terrible has happened there. That man flew at victim and he strangled him to death. Wait a second there, Missy.
Incidentally, who won the game?
It's not obvious the winner was the victim, Mr. Smith.
That's ridiculous! Because Mr. Right can't lose!
Justice, maybe you can come up with a more legitimate objection?
But he hadn't lost in 7 years!
Take it from me, kid. It happens. I didn't lose a case in my first 7 years as prosecutor, either. Incidentally, I have evidence here. These are the poker chips as they lay the very moment of this crime. The hand and chips on this side belong to the defendant, Mr. White. Those on the far side belong to the victim, Mr. Smith.
Chips, you say?
That, I mean, yes. Imagine that the poker is the war, and the hand is your army, and the chips are the toils.
I know that. After all, in my youth, I was known as the poker head of courtroom number 3. I think he means poker face. Looking at this picture, it does seem that most of the chips are on the victim's side of the table. Very well, the defense may cross-examine the witness. Okay, before we go to the main thing. Hold it! You were dealing cards. Do you do this often?
I am doing this. If customer wishes it, I serve anything. Borscht cards, more borscht. It is my work.
It is good to hear a place hasn't forgotten the meaning of service.
Welcome to the Borscht Pool Club, where borscht is as warm as the waitresses.
Thank you for not handing out flyers during the cross-examination.
It was cold, but both players played house on.
It's already April. How could it be cold? I mean, depending on where you live, me.
At Borscht Pool Club, we have pride on authentic rustic Russian restaurant theme. Outside it is city in spring, but inside it is always as cold as Mother Russia.
No way am I going there.
When it comes to hot borscht, cold is best seasoning that. The victim, he plays whole time with his hands on locket at his neck.
His locket?
I believe it was good luck charm, da. He gripped it many times as he played that night.
Yes, he must have felt as though it might carry him the moon and the stars. Though if it were small enough it fit around his neck, it wouldn't have had much lift. The defense would like a clarification. This is a locket we're talking about, right? I mean, a pendant with a picture in it, right? Not a rocket. I do that. It's probably a pendant shaped like a rocket. That's why I called it that. No, a locket's a locket. It doesn't matter what shape. It's considered bad form to poke fun at the hard of hearing in our society. Hard of hearing or hard of understanding? I forgot how very stupid this game is. Something terrible? The defense will refrain from needless shouting. I'm sorry. I need to seriously reconsider this whole training thing.
Now, Miss O'Leary, can you tell us what happened? I was so frightened that I trembled with fear.
That man flew at the victim and they strangled him to death. Hold a fucking second. Objection! EA! Oh, really? Strangled, you say? That's odd.
Nah, normal customers only choke on borscht.
No, I mean this report shows that the victim died of a blow to the head. Miss O'Reilly? Really now? Did you witness the crime? Looking at the picture, it doesn't seem like he was hit. He's still wearing his hat and everything.
Yet, it is in fact that he was hit, Your Honor. Here is a photo we took of the victim with his hat off during our investigation.
Well, that's quite shocking, isn't it? This head certainly was hit.
But I have seen that happen. The defendant, he lunged that victim his neck.
Oh, really, Miss O'Reilly? I think I've caught you in your own lie this time. Justice. I admire your enthusiasm, but perhaps you should think this through once more. What do you mean? I found a contradiction. There's one thing in her testimony that troubles me. Very well. It seems we should continue the cross-examination. There's such a thing as thinking too much. This horse is dead. Let's stop beating it. There is such a thing as thinking out loud too much, too. Can Kristoff read my thoughts? Oh my god, no way. Doo-doo, baby. Can I? Oh, hello there. Oh, the battery is being held with a piece of tape. You should just buy a new one. Maybe he can't afford it, or just doesn't care. There's a piece of tape. I have that at work. We have a weight that has to be held up with tape, but the tape can't. The tape can't hold up the batteries in place. It's bad. Why is there no blood on this? Oops. You didn't say anything about hitting before. I'm so sorry. I must be forgetting this stuff. Witness, you will take greater care of your testimony. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
And that clears up the discrepancy with the autopsy report, I believe. The defendant made to strangle his victim, then changed his mind, and chose a simpler, blunter means to do the jabs. Yes, that sums it up nicely.
I love that face so much. He's so stupid. So he strangled him, then hit him. Something's fishy about all this. Go ahead. I believe you know what you need to do. I am sorry. I am mixing German and Russian. Right, sir. Leave it to me. There were only 3 people in the room at the time of the murder. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and Mr. Wright isn't the killer. I've got it now. Had the customer ask me. Oh shit! Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. Nope, okay. This evidence clearly reveals a contradiction. Alright. Time for the power of... Turn around Trump walkthrough. Third. Oh, wait a second. Objection! That's dumb. That's dumb. There you go. So that is dumb. That is stupido. Because he's not wearing his locket in this one either. Whatever. I guess you could see more clearly. You know, there was one curious part of her testimony, just like Mr. Gavin said, but... Mr. Justice, would you care to explain what it is you're thinking so intensely about? Recall the testimony, Your Honor. The victim played with his hand on locket at his neck, I believe she said.
I hope you aren't about to raise an objection to the witness's grammar.
No, but look at this photograph! And do you see a locket on the victim's neck? Well done, Justice. I'm impressed. I know you would be able to handle this, but what does it mean? What does it mean? If we are to believe this witness's testimony as is, then the locket disappeared following the victim's death. Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor. Quite simple when you think about it. Locket is gone, someone must have taken it off, no? Taken it off. Wait! You don't mean... The defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all. He was taking off his locket. Wouldn't that explain it? Defendant, what do you have to say to this? Say. Yes? I just noticed this, but... You have something hanging around your neck, don't you? Oh. Oh, you mean this? Yes, it's a locket with a photograph inside. A photo of my daughter. Ah, come again? Mr. Wright, you have a daughter?
We confirmed it at the time of your arrest. The picture in the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter.
Oh, Mr. Wright has a locket too? Why don't I buy that this is just a coincidence? It could have. Well, now, if the results of this poker game led to the murder, perhaps we should hear a little bit more about the outcome of the game.
Well, your testimony won't really be necessary. It's clear the defendant lost badly.
Miss O'Reilly, you will testify to the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant.
Da.
Witness testimony.
The game began with 3,500 points in chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. The one who was winning, it was victim. For last time, defendant played with all chips on table and lost. The moment loss was decided, defendant grabbed spots from table and...
Gee, looking at this picture, it does seem to be a one-sided game.
As the court knows, poker was the defendant's right. Fairly must have been a better pill as well.
How many times have I heard these words? I done it in a fit of anger, Your Honor, and now I regret what I done. A common tale, but true. Methinks the judge watches too many old court movies. Mr. Wright said he hasn't lost in 7 years, so this testimony must be wrong. Or maybe he just lost, Apollo.
The game began with 3,500 points in chips.
Hold it! You got it! Are those the usual starting points? Were any special rules used?
No, not special. Usual game, usual rules.
If each man began with 3,500 points, then the total would be, exactly 7,000 points. Please, this isn't calculus, huh? It's not even long division. Why did we?
House chips come in two sizes, large and small.
Small and large. Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used?
Da, of course.
Huh? It's fishy with these chips. Maybe you can explain a little bit more about these chips.
Explain? What is there to explain? Poker chips are poker chips. There's not fish and chips. Not a chip up there old block. Not a motorcycle cop. Not a...
Thanks. Now that I've pressed her, better ask something. What are these chips worth? Are they in dollars or rubles even?
Yet, as I have been saying before, it was game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for capitalists to understand. Two types of chips, 100 points chips and 1,000 points chips. It is not money.
Justice. Sir! Don't you find her comment interesting? In more ways than one, sir. I'd have it to add her to her testimony myself. Add it to the testimony! Yes, I do think this deserves further scrutiny. Add it to the testimony. I wish I knew where I was going with this.
Your Honor. One kind of stupid.
Oh, shit, I pressed the wrong thing. Oh, whatever. So this testimony is important. To be honest, I have no idea. We are not sorry, I'm fine. And quick. The two types of chips. The The small ones are hundreds and the big ones 1,000s? Right, right? Of course.
Huh. Don't waste our time.
Is that all? Yeah, great. Now I want to look dumb. Oh, Justice? Please do not embarrass me like that. Who, me? There's a clear contradiction in the information you have in your hands. What? It's a simple matter of calculation. Go on, try it. We're not in kindergarten after all. Calculations. I know the inconsistency.
Objection!
Higai! You're sure it was the victim who won? Absolutely sure?
It seemed our new attorney is a bit confused. I glanced at the pictures enough to tell you who won, if you're not in kindergarten.
Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court? Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth 1,000 points?
Why, the big ones, of course, duh.
Oh, I thought so too. But then the totals don't add up.
The totals.
Let's review what the witness told us. Each man started with 3,500 points in chips, and the combined total value of the chips was 7,000 points. Yes, if my calculations are correct. Let's see. 3 plus 1, carry the 5. They are, Your Honor. Now! Look at this photograph that the allegedly shows all the chips. If the big chips are worth 1,000 points and the small chips are worth 100, and you add them all up, to yourself, you weren't in kindergarten, are you? 10,600 points. The chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness testimony!
But why? How could it be?
Exactly, Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why. Right! There's only one possible way to explain this contradiction! Chip count was wrong. Wait, what? Both were right? Each man began the game with 3,500 points. And if all the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, then there can be only one answer. The value of the chips was the other way around.
What?
Want to know what I think? The small chips were worth 1,000 points, not the big ones.
Madness. I don't madness.
Show me that photograph of the chips again. Are 6 small chips, then 10 large ones. Why, that does make 7,000 points when you add them up. Oh my god! Excellent work, Justice. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself. Well, I'm just glad I was the one who said it, and I remember it from past gameplay ago.
But wait! The value of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing.
Indeed, the victim did have the large number of chips still. Ah! Exactly. If the small chips are 1,000 points and the large chips are 100, let's do a little math. Add up the points for each side of the table. Ah! Victim Mr. Smith had 29 points and the 4,100. Well now, it seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all.
That's impossible!
My client has even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning!
Yeah!
Now, Miss O'Reilly, you must have known the true value of the chips, since you were there at the scene of the crime. Order! Order! It appears our defendant has lost his motive, and Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened. We must now ask ourselves whether we can trust... Hold it! Excuse me, what is it, Miss O'Reilly?
I did not want to be saying this, but actually, you see... See what, Miss O'Reilly? What do we see? In the last hand, there was cheat.
A cheat?
You don't mean a trick.
Wait, or do you mean a scam? They're all the same thing.
Yes, there was cheat in last hand.
That is why ends with chips are... That is why game ends with chips as they are. Great, just great. First we have lying, now cheating. Well, this case certainly has taken a turn for the interesting. Witness, you will please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheating in the final hand.
The last hand, both men had the full house. There is 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. The next moment, the game becomes argument that the defendant's trick was exposed. He took puzzle in his hand for Mr. Smith.
Miss O'Reilly, why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? I thought I smelled a cover up here. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers. A full house is a very high-scoring hand. Not easy to make, in my experience.
That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics.
Mr. Gavin, what's a full house?
Lawyers these days, you don't know your poker.
I can say this bodes well in your case or career. Who the fuck? Sorry, my Pip was buzzing. Can't say this bodes well for your case or career. What is this? Some kind of secret poker ring? Secret court porkery? Justice. You know the terms. 1 pair, 2 pair, and 3 of a kind, yes. Yeah, no problem. 2 cards with the same number make a pair, and 3 makes 3 a kind. Good. Now picture a hand with 1 pair and 1 3 of a kind. That's a full house. That doesn't sound very easy to make, does it?
You can see each player's heads in this photo.
Well, they both have full houses.
We forget there's an easy way to make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat.
The defense, I'm sorry. Wait, hold on, I would like to... Oh, my age is not on here? God damn. 33. Damn, he looked good for 33. Mr. Gavin. He did cheat in the last hand. That still leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Whoever heard of a personal con man losing when they cheat? Cross-examination.
The last hand, both men had full houses. There are 4 in each.
You guys, shut up! 4 of each card, you say? There is 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, and 1 club for each card.
It is interesting fact that this number 4 comes from the number of seasons.
You don't say. Did you know that the cards are numbered 1 to 13? Add all the cards. You don't say. Is that 1 day short? Why do we care about this? We're going to be in this room for a year if it keeps going like this. Why did we go?
But this is more obvious.
Why is it most obvious, Miss O'Reilly?
How was it clear? That, well, the defendant, he played a 5th ace.
5th ace?
I still remember both hands very well.
There are 2 decks. 1 red, 1 blue.
Mr. Smith's hand had 3 aces.
Oh crap, there's 2 aces.
Obviously cheating was afoot, or perhaps I should say a hand.
Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to the testimony without Mr. Payne's joke. Very well. Witness will add this detail to our testimony, please.
Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces and Mr. Wright's 2. It is 5 aces in all.
Oh, wait, hold on. No. Wait, huh? Mr. Smith has 3 aces. No, he doesn't.
Objection!
It appears the witness is mistaken.
Mistaken? But my name...
Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony. That's the photo of the chips, is it not? Justice. Perhaps you ought to explain your point in a way that the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point. Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photograph.
A picture perfect guy. Oh.
Wait, hold on. I'm confused. Point to the relevant... And press an A. Oh, Y. Okay.
Take that!
Take that! Miss O'Reilly, in your testimony, you made the following claim. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. But as you can clearly see, the victim's hand only held 2 aces.
Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the third ace in question.
Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant also has 2 aces in his hand. Where's the 5th ace? I see cheating all right, and it's gonna be right here in this courtroom! 2 aces in each player's hand does make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating.
It is true. I have seen it, the 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you.
That's odd. She might be lying, and she's the most sincere I've seen her all day. You're right to trust your instincts. Mr. Gavin, who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion. What might that be, Mr. Gavin? If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards. The cards. Mr. Payne.
Yes?
The players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court. Very well, the prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? Victor? If these cards don't prove cheating was going on, nothing will. Now, which of these hands will be the most suspicious? Let's start with Mr. Wright's hand. The defense would like to view the defendant's hand. Very well, Mr. Payne, your evidence.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, now, let's see what we have here. Right, sir. When examining evidence, be sure to view it at all sides and angles. Try the stick, turn it each way, and Y&X to zoom in and out. That should give you a better perspective of this case. Ooh. Normal cards. No clues here. Well, has the defendant found anything? Not unless you count utter confusion. Perhaps you best examine the victim's cards next. Of course, you can always give these cards another look. I'll examine the other hand, please. Guess I'll examine the victim's cards. The defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's hand. Make it quick, Mr. Justice. This is always swift. Ooh. Ooh. What? Your Honor, look at this. One of the victim's cards, the back is a different color.
Ah! That's impossible. Where'd I put that card in Wright's hand? Ah!
What was that, Miss O'Reilly?
No, niet. I merely said that I have.
Your Honor. Mr. Gavin, yes? Tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker? To cheat? I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend. A comrade, shall we say. Aha! The dealer. Wait, so you mean... This witness, Miss O'Reilly, she's the cheater. A professional, I'd wager. Order! Focus, justice. Time to take advantage of her. Of her mistake! Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard.
That's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand.
Ergo, Miss Olga O'Reilly conspired to cheat not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shady Smith. Hold up. This is my favorite breakdown song in the Phoenix Wright trilogy. Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim. What? Wait, you don't mean the defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga O'Reilly, are you? Time for justice. There were 3 people in the room all the time in the incident. And if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means I am guilty. Wait, the defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga O'Reilly, of murder. Oh no, she's fucking dead. Mr. Payne, where is your witness?
Oops, shit. She's lost consciousness, Your Honor. Let me just turn down the music, please.
Mr. Justice, Your Honor, it seems you've presented a new possibility to the court. One suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith. And that means this court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time.
Yeah, what?
I did it! I held out! Anime moment. I see no point in prolonging the prolonging the trial to his day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries.
Objection!
Mr. Wright, you can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet.
What nonsense is the defendant spewing now?
Think, one of the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what it means?
What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objection right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous.
Mr. Payne, you of all people should know Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous. That is true. Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the facts about the game that fateful night. As was said before, we alternated between 2 decks of cards that night.
That was said before.
The 2 decks of the club have different colored backs, blue and red. 1 color per deck. Why use different colored backs? If we use the same color, the 2 decks might get mixed. You use different colors and still got mixed up? We used the red deck for the last game. I see, but that's odd. For some reason, I have this impression that you were using the blue cards. Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards.
Whatever. In the end, 1 card in the wrong color got into the mix, which means that was cheating.
Yes, a card slipped into the deck would seem to indicate cheating. Yet this card raises 2 serious questions. Apollo? Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think, in the last game, when was the card swapped? When? There are 3 broad possibilities. It could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder.
Well, yeah, thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was swapped.
Oh? It might just be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne, or it may not be. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? When? Was it before? Well, it must have happened before the murder. You mean during the game? I wonder. Why? Which side of the cards face your opponent? Ah! The back! I also think the poker head of courtroom number 3 would have likely to miss. Sorry, let me think about this more. Is it after the murder? Happened after the murder.
What's that ridiculousness? What's the point of cheating after henchman showing this? Tell me.
Yes, but tell me, how did you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over possible.
Take it from me, son. You're not as silly in this world, but very little impossible.
Oh, even when the backs of the cards are a different color, if you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time. Quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown, after the murder.
Okay, this is going past silly and straight on to crazy. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that?
Who indeed? That's one of the mysteries before us. There's another. Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for a blue card? Who? The game, the murder, is done. The game and murder is done. The victim is dead. Only 2 remain in the room, alive that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga O'Reilly. Okay, so who was it that swapped the red card for a blue card? Someone else! Spoilers, I knew what happened. Why, it must have been Olga O'Reilly who swapped the cards. She was trying to cover up evidence of the cheating. That does make some sense. Sorry, but there's a problem with that explanation. Huh? The swapped card was from the wrong deck. Yes, a blue card was stuck in a red hand. Mixing a card from the wrong deck when the backs are different colors? Remember that you're talking about Olga O'Reilly. She was the dealer. Do you really think she would make such a novice mistake? Actually, I have trouble imagining even the judge making that mistake. Give it a little more thought, Apollo. It was someone else! The one who swapped the card wasn't Mr. Right, of course. And, well, it doesn't seem like it could be Olga really either. What are you suggesting? That's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As a defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss O'Reilly at this point. I know, but she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe she would make this mistake of swapping the wrong color card. And if the card was swapped during the game, it'd be obvious. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright? Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking how much fun all this is.
Fun? How much confusing. I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. If the one who swapped the cards wasn't the defendant and wasn't Miss O'Reilly, then who was it?
Yeah, well, that's the question, isn't it? Precisely.
Precisely.
Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction. A new direction. We'll find that indeed after the murder, someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand, and that someone made two critical mistakes. You're sure you're going to tell us the first was swapping the wrong colored cards? Because the one who did the swap didn't know two colors of cards were being used. The other mistake was the number on the card. Right. Person who replaced the fifth ace was a king. I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a fifth ace after all. And they knew was that all they knew that the game has been won with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in.
But there is one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist.
True, not until now, but you have to admit the possibility of a fourth person. Though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime.
What?
I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright. This trial has proceeded on one central assumption, namely that at the time of the incident, there were only 3 people in that room. I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption. A problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court. I suppose that is a problem, yes. Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess. Certainly, Your Honor. Very well, the trial will resume in 20 minutes. Ooh. How's everyone doing? I don't know what's going on. Well. Is everyone having fun? Everyone having fun with my voice acting? That was quite unexpected, Mr. Wright. To suddenly claim there was another person at the scene of the crime like that? I must ask, is it the truth? Well, now, I think you would know the answer to that. Being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I have no time for mysteries. I'd only ask that you leave the defending to your defense in the future. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. As you haven't mellowed out one bit, Kristoff. Justice. Yes, sir. The judge has summoned me to his chamber, so carry on without me. You did well, Apollo. Can I ask you something? Sure. That locket you wear. Is that really yours, Mr. Ray? Oh, you're wondering about the victim's disappearing locket? Here, you can take a look at it. That's a picture of my daughter in there.
She's got a little hat. Little.
I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter. Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. One more question. The one who cheated that night, was it you? What do you think? Huh? You know what happened 7 years ago? What I did? It's not unreasonable for you to think I might cheat. I'm never honest, but it is odd that he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years. Want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. poker. Huh? See, poker is all about reading your opponent. In that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like trial law. Figure out what your opponent is thinking and you win. Well, yeah, but that's harder than it sounds. I think not. Huh? Try as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Their body language can become a valuable source of information. You're kidding. That witness, for instance, Miss O'Reilly. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? No, come on, who'd notice that? I did. Words, habits, twitches, it's all information for the reading. That's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me, and now I pass that secret on to you. But I'm not worthy. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on these signals. No, you can do it. Huh? You just don't know it yet. What's he talking about? But you will. Soon. Ah, almost forgot. One more thing. About this case. You should know, I haven't told the truth to anyone yet. What? I knew it! I have my reasons, of course. Yeah, did you not know Phoenix Wright became a homeless man? Anyway, I have my reasons, of course, all shall be revealed. And, Apollo, I need you to be there, defending me. I need your power. My power? I have no idea my cords of steels were that special. It's time. The real trial begins now. Do your best. To be continued! Woo! In that case, we'll take a little break. I am going to play some music real quick. Where is it? I am going to ba 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 ba. Do do do. Do 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 do. Hold on. I'm just trying to figure out how to do this. We're gonna take a quick break. Oops, ignore that. Do 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 do. Images. Image. There we go. Oopsies. Hold on. Oh, oh, she's a a big boy. We're gonna take a quick break. I'm going to finish the rest of my drink, and I will be right back. So, just wait right here. I'm going to finish my drink, use the restroom, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I said I would be quick, so. Alright, let me just bring up my stream on the phone real quick. There we go. Alright. Alright, let's get back in the game. So hope everything looks good right now. If you can see the game fine, then I mean. Okay. Next chapter. April 20th, 12:14 p.m. Court will now reconvene. I now have my water with the flavor enhancer or whatever that's in it. Juicy. It's fruit punch.
Yes, Your Honor. Oh, sorry. Yes, Your Honor. She's regained consciousness.
Perhaps we can hear her version of this event again.
That's the thing. She's quite fatigued.
You're looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne. Sadly, fatigue is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute. The defense would like to request that Miss O'Reilly take the stand. Excuse me, fuck. Very well, the witness will take the stand. Perhaps you can repeat your name and profession? Or perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poor loser. Not. Aha!
Name's Olga O'Reilly. That's the truth. I'm a pro dealer. People call me Olga Quickfingers O'Reilly.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Want to know something else? I'm not really Russian, and my last name sounds like O'Reilly. There, that's the truth. I hope you're satisfied.
She looks gorgeous. Witness, you will tell the court that you were really up to that night.
Fine, I'll talk. We had a plan, see?
Let me remind you that you are currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences.
Fine.
I'll give her a normal voice now.
Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy Smith hired me to do what I do best. I was planted at the Borscht Bull Club several days prior to the night of the game as a waitress. So you were in cahoots with the victim. Not that he needed my help. Smith is a well-known poker player in some circles. But winning wasn't the main purpose of this game. It was about destroying a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple. Elegant, really, you see. We set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant the card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut. You swapped the cards. Exposed as a cheater and losing on top of it, it would have made a great double play. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces.
Indeed. Getting caught red-handed at cheating would cast doubt on his prior wins.
A 7-year legend destroyed by only one little card. You didn't play 5 aces though, you played 4. That was the play.
Oh really? How'd you rule? But it appears you made quite a mistake. This time I'll actually try and concentrate on Christoph's voice so we make sure he doesn't sound Russian and some form of German. A mistake.
I agree that trap was elegant. Yet what happened to the planted card? Hey, that's right. He's lucky, I'll give him that. You'd have to be to slip free from the trap laid by Olga Quickfingers O'Reilly.
Oh really? This is a why not Wobbuffet moment. The witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind shtick.
Cute? Who wants to be cute? I'm not cute, I'm bad. You hear me? Bad!
When you're through being bad, perhaps you could testify to the court. Tell us about this trap and how it was sprung. Can we, That night I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the last hand just like he was supposed to, that Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone. The trap failed. The next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me who hit Smith. It was that no-good cheating defendant. A surprising, frank testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark. That trap was perfect, I tell you. Perfect! If that rotten cheater hadn't messed it up. Look who's talking! Well, the testimony, for what it's worth, it's all yours, Mr. Justice. With witnesses like her, who needs criminals? With defendants like Mr. Wright, who needs prosecutors? Except for Miles Edgeworth, who will give him the biggest smooch ever. That night I placed it like I was supposed to. Alright, press everything! This planted card. Which card was it exactly? The trump card. The 5 of hearts. Let me guess. Mr. Wright was to have switched the 5 with the ace to make a full house. At least that's what you were going to accuse him of doing, thereby ruining his legend. I slid it into Wright's pocket. When was this? Why, before the match, of course. While he was eating. At the Borscht Bull Club, we serve borscht and suckers. Remind me never to go there. Of course, the card was to make its grand debut during the game. Like a good borscht, a good plot must be cooked up early and allowed to thicken. I don't know if I am going to be doing a pirate accent. So everything went according to plan. Exactly. The 5th ace came up, so it's obvious the switch went off without a hitch. Miss O'Reilly, I would like to call horseshit on this because there are still 4 aces in your... There are 4 aces! There's no 5th! There are 3 kings and 3 sevens! There's no 5th ace! Where is this 5th ace? Once the extra card was found in his pocket, Wright would be forever known as a cheat and a fraud. There are worse things to be known as, I suppose. Tell us what happened with the search. That the planted card was gone. The card disappeared? Yeah, my trump card, the 5 of hearts. Gone without a trace. Poof! Zippo! We searched every nook and cranny, even his boutah, even inside his cute little hat. It is a very cute hat. The card was nowhere to be found, is this correct? Never in my long, storied career. Fuck. Never has Quick Fingers O'Reilly been so readily duped. Oh, really? So what did happen to the 5 of hearts? Don't look at me. Why don't you ask the cheating, lying, two-faced defendant? 5 of hearts is still missing in action. Next moment, Wright picked up the bottle. Sorry, Jutka! Wait, isn't that a little odd? What's odd? You searched Mr. Wright thoroughly and found nothing? Which means he didn't cheat, which means he had no reason to strike the victim. Well... What was that just now? I sensed something. Something wrong, Mr. Justice? No, nothing, Your Honor. What to do? Should I press her a little harder? Press harder. Miss O'Reilly, you're hiding something! What is it? What are you talking about, you? Me? Quick Fingers O'Reilly? Hide something?
The defendants will refrain from baseless accusations.
I have one question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is it true? Of course it's true. I did see it, honest. I saw it when Mr. Wright hit him. Sorry, I'm having a stroke. With my own eyes I saw it. This is weird vibe I'm getting. That witness, for instance, Miss O'Reilly, she would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? Touching her neck, was it? She's not touching her neck, she's touching a piece of her hair. Whee-oo! Whoa, what's going on? This sensation. It's coming into focus. There! That twitch, it's so clear. It's like I could perceive her habit. I couldn't before. Gotcha! Gotcha! She's scratching the... that's not really her. I guess that is her neck. Miss O'Reilly, perhaps you are unaware of this yourself. Unaware of what? Whenever you get to a certain part of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand. My neck? So what? What indeed, Justice? I hadn't noticed anything of the sorts. When she says that part of the testimony, she's subconsciously recalling something. Her body reacts to the memory and she touches her neck. I'm sure of it.
A memory? Would someone care to explain what she's babbling about?
This is highly unusual, but let's ask the defense. You claim the witness is remembering something? Maybe you have evidence of this memory to show us. I started scratching that neck whenever she talks about the moment of the crime. So what would... Miss O'Reilly, whenever you recall this crime that night, you scratch your neck. I've noticed it happen when you think about the moment of the crime. There must be some reason behind this habit of yours. I believe the weapon that left an inerasable impression on your neck is...
Take that!
Whenever she's talking about the moment of the crime, she touches her neck. And what reminds us more of that moment than this bottle, the murder weapon. But something doesn't fit. If you were only the witness to the crime, why would that make you touch your neck like you're in pain?
What's he talking about now?
It was Mr. Smith, the victim, who was hit.
Not you. This is a cross-examination, not a cross-wild conjecture. The witness's habits, they're completely irrelevant.
Justice, I'll admit I'm a bit confused myself. This is certainly a unique cross-examination. I'll explain later, just trust me. Now's our only chance to break her. Miss O'Reilly, please testify in detail about the moment of crime. The very moment.
Yes, I know nothing.
We know you're not Russian. The witness will testify, please. Now. Fine. He's the one who did it. I didn't look. You seem uneasy. You try standing up here. Your eyes are darting all over the place. I might be getting warm. Tell me, after the crime, what was the defendant like? Well, he must have been stunned by the weight of the crime. He sat in a daze at the table until the cops came. Intriguing. I believe you've gotten all the testimony you've gotten out of this witness. So what do you think about her testimony? I'll tell you what I think. Her testimony is flawed. Is basically bogus. It contradicts the evidence.
Oh, what's that?
Well, show us this evidence, Mr. Justice. This evidence that you claim contradicts the testimony. She didn't tell him out. Let him out of his sights until the cops got there. I know there's some evidence that contradicts that. His phone! Miss O'Reilly, we have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. It states that the police were alerted by a report from the defendant. And we know that the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made that phone call from the first floor of the Borscht Pool Club. So, explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely! Ah! Oh, that was a great face. That man who picked up a bottle and swung it at that night wasn't the defendant. Meow. I do so about drinking. Showdown time. Anime. You dirty cheat. Check his pockets. Now! It's gone! The card's gone! You lose. I'll turn up the music a bit. Just then, Smith grabbed the bottle from next to right, and he hit me. Some master of cheating he turned out to be. That doesn't make sense, 'cause why are Phoenix's fingerprints on it? When I came to, the victim was already dead. Is that it? That's why I couldn't reveal who I really was. If it came out that I was in leagues with Smith, I'd be a suspect for sure. Well, where does this leave us?
Madness! This is madness! I'm dreaming! It must have been you. It must have been you who hit the bottle, and I'm imagining all of this.
It fears our prosecution and his wits' end, and frankly, I can't blame him. Mr. Gavin, what do you think of this turn of events? Mr. Gavin, sir? I believe that, as the defense is in this case, we are compelled to call Miss O'Reilly a big fat liar. What? 3 were in that room the night of the murder, the defendant, victim, and her. And she has a motive. Motive? Our plot foiled, the witness got into an argument with her client, Mr. Smith, and the denouement of that argument was murder. What? I didn't. I'm no killer. It's a trap. Someone's trying to frame me. Damn, look at how she stands it up. What tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive. So tangled we catch ourselves in the process. Mr. Right? Such a hasty conclusion. It's not like you, Christoph Gavin. What do you say? Why not consider the other possibility that there was another person in the room at the time of the murder? Woo! Right, like Mr. Wright was saying before recess. A single card was swapped into the victim's hand after the murder, and the one who swapped the card didn't know 2 colors of the cards were being used. A 4th person.
Ha! This theory again, your 4th person doesn't exist.
Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here, where there's no escape and no chance for deception. The perfect place to catch the real criminal.
The real criminal?
I'm sorry, the real criminal? We're in luck. A clue, the real criminal's identity was kindly provided for us. Right at the beginning of the trial, no less.
What?
Apollo, perhaps you know what I'm talking about? Sorry. Remember what I said? The 4th person who swapped the cards made one critical error. He or she wasn't considering the card on the backs of the cards. Right, but how could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used for the last game were red. Yet, there was one person here in our court who thought those cards were blue. Yeah, I had that impression too, but why? Well, Apollo, think you can figure out who it was?
It's not me, I swear.
Who is this 4th person? Why do I always get put on the spot like this? Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who had thought the cards were used in the final game were blue? As I expected. Your eyes and ears are as sharp as your hair. I was right. Christoph Gavin, you were the 4th person that night. But, of course Mr. Gavin knows the color of the cards. How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. You can't tell which of the cards are blue, the ones on the floor or the table. But look, you can see the colors in the photos. Yes, but when he said the cards were blue, it was well before this evidence came to light. He in the game of poker with the victim, yet it was only that, a game in the purest sense, a competition, Your Honor.
Competition?
A test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in blue flames, knowing its final outcome. Well, Christoph? Oh, Mr. Gavin? Mr. Gavin, is something the matter? No, nothing. Excuse me. I was just so sudden. Right? You aren't serious. You aren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Christoph. You know even I'd never take a joke this far.
Is that God by unridiculous beyond norm? It is insanity. The defendant accusing his own defense attorney of murder?
I assure you, I'm quite sane.
But what possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim?
I wasn't aware that I had a connection to Mr. Smith either.
Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim had never even met.
Well, what if they have?
Huh?
Huh? There is a possibility, after all. They may have met that night before the game started. What are you suggesting? this the truth Mr. Wright was staying silent about? Only one thing to do. Mr. Wright, the defense would like to request that you testify to the court. The defense would like to request no such thing. Mr. Gavin, testimonies must relate to the case. How could anything happen before that game of poker be related? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin. As I explained before, the defense believes that Miss O'Reilly... Am I to assume you speak of Mr. Justice in this? He is the defense, not you. Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you. Oh, okay. Does the court, in your opinion, need to hear Mr. Wright's testimony? Yes, sir! It's Mr. Wright's strategy. He was planning this all along. And I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court. If through justice, you would betray me, your teacher? I'm sorry, Mr. Kevin, this isn't about loyalty. This is about the truth. Very well, the defendant, Mr. Wright, will take the stand, please. That evening, Kristoff and I had dinner. We sat at the table in this photograph. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Kristoff left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold, and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from the cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call to defense attorney Gavin. Mr. Gavin, you were at the Borscht Bowl Club the night of the murder. I dine with him rather frequently.
And he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder?
Quite against my will, I had been involved in a murder. I thought I might have been in need of a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you, Wright? Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth. As I did back then, and now. I thought my office was doing— oh shit, hold up. It appears I was wrong. Why was I just going on normally? Very well, the defense may cross-examine the witness. Justice? Sir! He's lying, and you're going to expose him. Understood, sir. Mr. Gavin versus Mr. Wright. This can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? In this world, no trial can be normal in the Phoenix Wright land. That evening, Kristoff and I had dinner. We sat at the table in this photograph. You had dinner with Mr. Gavin? Yes. He dines with me at the Borscht Bowl Club quite frequently. We were enjoying a usual dinner at our usual spot as usual. I always eat at the table closest to the piano. I see. Where Mr. Smith was sitting.
So the plates and such on the table were from your dinner?
Indeed. The remnants of my meal with Kristoff. We dined for 2 hours, then Kristoff left after that. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Kristoff left. So the two of them could have passed in the restaurant during that time. It would have been a fateful encounter, to be sure. God damn it.
Oh, Mr. Wright. What was it you said? Kristoff Gavin and Shady Smith may have met?
I believe I did say that.
Yeah, I don't know it was about this meeting. And now we hear that just passed in the hall?
That does seem a little weak as a pretense for murder. Oh, it would be, if that were all that really happened. Come on, Mr. Wright. What are you hiding this time? When the trap failed, Mr. Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold. I left to call the— You made the call to the police from the first floor to the restaurant, correct? Exactly. Cell phones don't get a signal down in the hideout. Was anyone else on the first floor at that time? Not a soul. It was the middle of the night after all. So there, in the darkened restaurant, I called the cops. After making the call, I returned to the hideout. It didn't seem right to leave the injured waitress alone. When I returned, he was dead. That's when I made another phone call to defense attorney Gavin. Could you explain why you called Mr. Gavin? I'd obviously gotten involved in a rather sticky affair, and I'd rather figured Kristoff's law office would give me a friend rate for my defense fee. Glad to hear you intend to pay. Oh, I'll pay in full, Kristoff. It was I who got you involved after all. You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend. Quite high. Is this the truth that Mr. Wright was talking about? Justice, you know what you have to do. Yes, sir. What's Mr. Wright trying to tell me with this testimony? Wait, hold on. He said cut. Hold up. That's... caused a single blow. Hold up!
Objection!
Your Honor, what do you think? I'm not sure I follow you. It's clearly a contradiction. I thought... Objection overruled. Is it the photo?
Objection!
Nope. Okay. I feel like it's not a cut. He got bludgeoned. He was bludgeoned to death, wasn't he? Death caused by a single blow to the forehead. There's no blood on this bottle. Bottle is completely empty.
It could be what.
Oh my god!
It?
Oh my god! Jump scared. I thought
Sorry.
I got jump scared. Hello, gamers. This is Nadia.
Oh, I'm gonna silent. Sorry, I didn't.
You jump scared me. That's fine. I don't have I have streamer mode on, so I don't get Discord notifications.
Okay, sorry. I'm just gonna quiet now.
No. Okay. Just gonna do a quick Google. Wait, what? Hold up.
Hold it!
About this failed trap. This is the same trap that Miss Olo really mentioned. This plan was simple, elegant really, you see. We set up a trap of sorts. Again, Olga, you did it. Deal 5. You dealt 4. You swap the cards. Just like that, the legend could have been dashed to pieces. Yes, a harmless prank, in essence. It was by a quirk of fate that it happened to discover it. A quirk? I had happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. The card she planted. Yes, I took a peek at it and found it was the 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed the card before the game. Disposed where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. An empty bottle of grape juice? The murder weapon! Yes, I rolled it up and shoved it in. The colored glass makes it hard to see. A battle of wits between the deceiver and the would-be deceived. That sounds like terrific drama. Card inside the murder weapon? That's strange. Please miss that in the investigation. Please revise your testimony. That is indeed horseshit. Because I see no card in this bottle. Mr. Wright, if I may. Yes? I examined the bottle, and I don't see any card in here. No? What, Mr. Wright? Surely, isn't all you have to say for yourself. I can't say that I know what happened to the card. I did put it in that bottle. Huh? Perhaps a fifth person came and took it out? Oh, and a sixth person could have helped. Don't make jokes, Gavin. Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright is your client. My apologies, Your Honor.
I wouldn't have your disparaging our investigation either. We looked inside that bottle, there was nothing.
So what's going on? Is Mr. Wright hoodwinking us again? Or did the card just disappear? In any case, please continue the cross-examination. I'm afraid decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence. Oh, push him harder, Justice. Break him. It's just you and the witness in the ring. Why do I get the feeling we're not on our client's side anymore? Blood streaming. Oh, that is some... Bruh! When I return... Bruh, no, that's so stupid. Wait, crime photo 1.
Objection!
That is some horse shit. Mr. Wright, if I may? Yes. Take a look at this photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see blood on his forehead. Good point. Justice. Next time you point out an inconsistency, put a little more oomph into it. I wasn't paying attention. Mr. Wright, can you explain this to the court? Ah, I forgot to mention something. I was the one who put that hat on his head. Huh? You? You put the hat on the dead man's head? We wore it through our entire poker game. After calling the police when I returned to the scene, his head was in full view, shining bright, just like in this photograph. And I picked his hat up off the floor and put it on his head.
Why did you think a thing like that?
All I could say is, I'm sorry, but that's the only thing I touched at the crime scene. That is also bullshit! So, Miss O really didn't see it? It being the victims of his head? I think not. She was out cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed his head. Here we go again. Mr. Gavin? Pardon. It just seems that our client is determined to lie his way through this case. Hey, he's still our client, isn't he? I believe that's enough of that. Mr. Gavin? This witness's testimony is more like a travesty. It's riddled with lies. I'm beginning to see how you come to lose your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Kristoff. I never knew. I believe it was you who threw the first stone. Mr. Wright, if you intend to ever tell the truth about this case, it's now or never. Don't be misled. I haven't told a single lie here. Huh? When I noticed the trap, I put the card in the bottle and disposed of it. And when I put the hat on the victim's head, let's just say I had a reason for doing that as well. A reason? That reason is right here. Your cell phone? That night, recall I spoke with defense attorney Gavin after calling the police, just in case I recorded our conversation. What's these? Now that we're all here, I see no reason why I shouldn't play it back to the court. Kristoff, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game not going well? Something like that. That gentleman who challenged you, he turned out to be good? He turned out to be dead. Someone hit him hard. You mean someone cracked that flawless bone china pat? It wasn't you, was it? Me, please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that. Bone china plate? Kind of porcelain, very smooth and shiny, and not plate, but pat. I believe he was referring to a certain gentleman's balding forehead. Haha, bald. The court appreciates the defendant's discretion in not indicating my forehead. Wait a second, something's not right about that phone call. So after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, he left the Borscht Bull Club? Most certainly. Then how did he know? When did he see this? Bone china plate? Oh, that's right. Yes, that was when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene, and when I spotted Mr. Smith's head again, I realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court? Exactly how did you come by your privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So, this is your reason? The reason why you put the victim's hat back on? Your point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this, has it? Is it next, right? Doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. Order! I will have order, Mr. Payne!
Yes, Your Honor.
I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear Defense Attorney Gavin's testimony?
The prosecutor,
Very well. We'll break for 10 minutes. After which, Mr. Gavin will take the stand for cross-examination. Are we all clear on that? Crystal clear, Your Honor. Very well. This will be the final recess for the day. Mr. Gavin and Mr. Wright are both in the judge's chambers. Who would have thought today would turn out like this? May I?
May I?
What?
Hello, sir. Please, pick a card.
What's all this about? Is this one okay?
Excellent. I have a message for you. Last hand is about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it.
A trump card?
The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely and the game is yours. That's all.
An ace. Where I remember this card from? It's the 5th one! So you did play 5 aces, you're just a stupido. The missing 5th ace. Wait, this splotch of red. Is this blood?
You have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw the truth. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you could do it.
And then she disappears. This blood-stained card. Is my trump card for finding the truth? I fell deep into the thought as my mind erased to understand what this all meant. The girl, I've seen her recently, but where? Oops. That's when I made the connection.
The one in the little hat.
Court is now will now reconvene. I'm going to check this ace immediately. A single drop of blood marks the front of the card. And it's a red. Defense Attorney Christoph Gavin, will you please take the stand? Oh, that if you would, Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor. Would the witness state his name and occupation?
Is this farce necessary, Your Honor? Believe me, far stranger things have gone in this courtroom. I let a assassin talk to us in court using a recorder. We had a parrot in court. I had to overview an entire circus for a case. Fine, I'll play along. First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat? By secret, I'm guessing he means the fact that Mr. Smith was bald! Forgive my curiosity, but what is this all about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have an inordinate interest in it.
Objection!
Sam Riegel! I forgot Sam Riegel voices Phoenix. I'm gonna call it in or date, Mr. Gavin. Oh yeah, bust down. Mr. Wright, are you allowed up here? What do you think you're doing, right? Wow, things sure look different from the other side. You know what I mean, Apollo. Speaking of looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second. The victim wore that hat all night, never once taking it off except for that one time. One time being the instant he was hit. Oh, Mr. Wright returned from reporting the crime. The hat was lying on the floor. Mr. Wright picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, you would have had to have been there in the hideout at the time of the crime. In other words, I must be the real killer, is what you're trying to say. Not bad, Apollo. Mr. Gavin, I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court.
What?
Oh, I assure you, I had the noblest of intentions. I did all to protect my client, Mr. Wright.
Huh?
Yet, I'm afraid in the current situation, I see little reason to hide anything. Very well, allow me to tell you the truth of what happened that night. Why you gotta look like a villain when you say it? Finally, you may begin your testimony. Tell us how you were involved in the events of that fateful night. The rage I sensed in that man that night troubled me, so I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window to the hideout. It must have been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead, as he appears in the photo. A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. I sensed that was not the best place for me to be at the time, and so I left. That's when the call came from Wright.
So you witnessed a murder?
For better or worse, I missed the actual moment of the deed. Mr. Gavin, may I remind you that you are on Mr. Wright's defense team? Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client. What else could I say? I'm standing on the witness stand after all. So you are, Mr. Gavin. And you had to testify as you just did. You had to tell them you saw the scene of the crime through that little window. Mr. Wright. You had to say that, because that was the only probable window of opportunity, right, Apollo? What are we talking about? Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Mr. Justice, are you prepared? Yes, Your Honor. I can't believe I'm going up against Mr. Gavin. The trial is getting weirder and weirder. Don't worry, you'll get used to it, Apollo. Oh, I still have my 2 lives gone. That man, you mean Mr. Smith? He was different from the other customers. His aura, shall we say. I knew he was a serious poker player, but it was more than that.
So then you knew the true nature of your client's job?
Of course, but I also knew he wasn't engaged in gambling, which would be illegal. Well, it makes sense that he'd know. They were friends after all. I worried for my friend. I returned to the club. You'll see, I feared this Mr. Smith might be someone coming to settle an old score. I see. What happened then? And I peeked through the little window in the hideout. The little window? You mean the one used to keep watch up the stairs? Oh, I thought it was peeking outside. Okay. Yes, a relic of the ancient past. The Black Marketeers used it, I believe. Why did you go through the trouble of peeking in through the window? Wouldn't it have been easier to just open the door and go into the room? I didn't want to upset Wright, you see. Upset Mr. Wright? Yes, what if my fears have been unfounded? I've been walking in on their match bad form, to say the least. So far, everything he's saying makes sense. Does it now? How do you know it was right after the murder? Really, no need to shout justice. I was just getting to that part of my testimony. There he is, the coolest defense in the West, we know and love. Even when you're standing up there on the witness stand, some things never change. I was afraid you'd change too, right? But you haven't. You and that overbearing personality of yours. With friends like these, who needs enemies? By photo, you mean the second photograph of the crime scene? Precisely, you'll see. He wasn't wearing his hat then. I saw his head when he was dead. And then Mr. Wright came along and replaced his hat. I call horseshit! Can you
describe the scene of the crime for us?
A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. Those were the only 3 at the scene of the crime? Yes, as far as I saw, at least.
Then we're back where we started. The killer was a defendant, right? Who else could it have been? But why didn't you talk to the police?
The reason. First, I did actually witness the very moment of the crime. Second, my office was asked to defend right. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend. There must have been someone else there at the moment of the crime! Justice, fuck! Justice. I just said I saw no one, not a soul. But that goes against what Mr. Wright said! Yes, this mysterious fourth person, who would have conveniently been the real killer, I suppose. Glad to see we agreed, Mr. Gavin. Let me pose a question then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap cards in the victim's hand? Perhaps you can show us the reason why such a thing would be necessary? Remember, Apollo, the card that was swapped is the fifth ace. That still makes no sense! Can you point out the reason? Hold on, Your Honor, because... Three, four, five. The defense would like to present evidence to the court. Evidence showing that the reason why the cards... Right here! No. I am totally hitting a roadblock. Hold up. Can I say no, Your Honor? Because I don't have it. There's my badge, Your Honor. See, now, it was wrong of me to field you in a trial so soon, Justice. Wild bluffing and even wilder accusations. You're almost as another defense attorney I know. I'm sure my office's reputation will recover given time. Or court. Yes, Your Honor. I sure can't let my first trial end like this. I gotta press a statement. Those were the only three at the scene of the crime? Yes, as far as I saw at least. And now we're back where we started. Nadia, I'm an idiot. I'm so stupid. I was supposed to do the fifth ace. I wasn't sure. Tell me what.
You're trying your best, man. You're trying your best. Also, I'm sorry I just popped in here. I didn't realize you was streaming.
Yeah, it's fine. Yes, I do have evidence, and Your Honor, it wasn't my badge this time. It was the same. Oops. There we go. My reason is, this. Hoo-yah!
This is an eighth.
Why, it's got blood on it, right next to the spade. What?
This is a shade. Why wasn't I told about this? Why?
Could this be the missing fifth ace? Inconceivable! How could you? What are you doing with that card? Your Honor, I got him. Well, that's the thing. Why is Mr. Cabot so upset? It's just a fishy card from some fishy girl. Oh, that card? That's mine. That is, I picked it up at the Borscht Bowl Club that night after the murder had occurred. I gave it to my daughter. Cards are her stock and trade after all. No! Impossible! Unacceptable! The court can't accept this evidence. It is fraud! A fraud? How could it be so sure? What? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud. Would be the only one who took the real card from the crime scene, the real killer. Allow me to elaborate. Who's the defense attorney? What if the trace of blood was the reason? To wait for the killer to take the card from the scene of the crime. Where are you going with this? Take another look at this photograph at the victim's head. And at the moment of the crime, his hat fell off the floor, and a trickle of blood ran from his forehead down to the back of his head. Couldn't a drop of that blood have fallen on one of these cards? I suppose. The killer then took the card to hide the blood. Regardless, that evidence is non-permissible. Oh? Right, regardless of how you wasted the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime is to conceal evidence. Oh, you can discuss the finer points of our legal system later. This is America and Japan. What's important now is that I've answered your question. What are you talking about? You wanted to know why the killer would have taken a card from the crime scene. And now, I've told you. That one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence. This is baseless conjecture. Baseless. He did the thing! He did the thing! Oh, I assure you, it's quite based. I'm just gonna take a screenshot of that real quick. What? It's amazing, really, how a single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the truth! It's quite simple. Well, Apollo? Yeah? Try picturing the scene of the crime. In your head. Whoa! 3D! Whoa! The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found at the poker table, and before the killer swapped the card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on the victim's hand. Given this, there is one decisive problem with this scene. Or what is it? Let's keep it simple, shall we? Given that there was a drop of blood on a card, whose position in this diagram doesn't fit. The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses, doesn't fit with the bloody card. Man, I don't know. The second witness position is the problem. Second witness, that would be Mr. Gavin, yes? The second witness's position is far less problematic than yours right now, Justice. Or perhaps perilous is a better word. Let's see what the blood stain has to do with the second witness's location. Fuck! The bloody ace. Oh. Again, stupido. I suppose. Do you think it's over, Mr. Justice? Whose position doesn't fit the bloody cards? Well, isn't it the victim's position that's the problem? I don't follow your logic here, Mr. Justice. Well, look, the victim was struck on the head, sending him back on his chair. You'd think any blood would fall behind the body, not onto the table in front of him. Ah. Take a look at this photo again. If he bled in this position, the blood would have fallen on the floor, not on the cards. Why, that's right. So, what does this mean? Incidentally, we were sitting in swivel chairs. Swivel chairs? Oh man. Apollo, try running the chair. Recreate the scene of the crime? What do you mean? Whoa! Or it was facing the other way? It would have been. So we have to assume that at the time, the victim's chair was facing away from the table. When Mr. Wright returned from informing the police, which way was the chair facing? When I came back to the room, the body was facing as seen in the police photo. That would mean the killer turned the chair back around. Let's take the next step. Look at this diagram once more. We know now the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder. But this creates another significant contradiction. Again, fuck! Let's test your reasoning skills again, shall we? Apollo, whose location on this diagram contradicts our new understanding of the crime? The victims, the killer, the witness, or the... It would be the killer, I would assume, but I'm going to just check because I only have one life. Yes, it is the killer. Okay. Dropping my phone everywhere. Take that! The victim was struck from the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? Sitting where his indicator currently is? I would think it'd be quite hard, yeah.
Yes, but what you're saying makes no sense. Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall in the middle of a game?
I believe a sufficient reason will soon come to light. What? There's something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Looking at this diagram, Apollo, if the victim was struck while he was sitting as shown here, where would his assailant be standing? What? But there's no room to put a mark where the killer should be. Don't worry, let's think it through and see what we find. We know the victim was facing towards the wall at the time of the crime. That's the only thing we know for sure. Try to forget about everything else. Where would the killer have been standing to strike at the... Here. The killer had to be standing. Well, here!
You get points for 12, but that's all you get.
I thought I was onto something there too.
I really need to point out that standing there would be impossible. The victim is facing a solid cupboard. Or are you claiming the killer climbed the cupboard and hit him from above?
It's simple logic, really. If it was the only place the killer could have been standing, then that means that at the very moment of the crime... Wait, I know! At the moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there! Oh! What's this now? I mean, that's the only explanation, right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. I'm the defense attorney. Okay. We should examine the cupboard. Bailiff, send a bailiff! Smack his balls! Bailiff, send the team to the crime scene immediately. Have them try to move the cupboard. Your Honor? What? There's one thing your men should look for. Please, give this to the bailiff. Yes, I see. You do belong in the courtroom after all, Mr. Wright. I do my best. But let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at this diagram once again. It's been changed. If the killer was standing here at the time of the crime, then this cupboard wasn't here. Which means, Apollo, try moving the cupboard. There would have been enough. Thank you. As you can see, the cupboard was the problem. At the time of the... it would have been shown here. Now everything is in place to reconstruct the moment of the crime. Oh my. What's this? What is it now? Look at the diagram of the crime scene once more. You don't have to keep saying it, but it's okay. It appears we found yet another contradiction. What I believe to be the final contradiction, in fact. Oh, dang. Notice something, Apollo? Our line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion. Oh, then, Mr. Justice, please point out the new contradiction indicator. Buck? Which indicator? About this cupboard, are we all okay with assuming it was moved? Sure, why not? Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard would completely cover up the window to the stairs. Ah! That's right, someone standing outside wouldn't be able to see in. Someone like Mr. Gavin. What did you just say? Oh, is the coolest defense in the West losing his cool? Don't expect me to play along with your little game, right? It's only a game until someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. No. And someone was, while the window to that room was blocked by a cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court? Exactly, where did you witness the crime scene from? Excuse me, Your Honor. Order. This is a court of law, and I will have order. We just now received the word from our investigative team at the Borscht Club. They've examined the cupboard in the hideout, Your Honor. Oh, and what did they find? Well, Your Honor, it turns out there is a secret passage behind it. What? Yeah, I believe I mentioned something of this sort before. This is one of the tricks to the rooms many of our regulars know about. Do you remember him saying something about that, now that he mentions it? Secret passage is a handy thing to do when you're engaged in illegal going-ons. You never know when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law. So the room has a secret tunnel. Where does it go? The other side connects to the restaurants above. The underworld bosses could get away from the cops and enjoy a cool bowl of borscht, no doubt. Just like our killer. You see where our line of simple deductive reasoning has led us, Apollo. I see, but I don't believe it. That girl wasn't kidding when she said I needed this trump card for the last hand. At the time of the murder, the window was blocked and the victim's hat was only off his head for a few minutes between Mr. Smith's murder and Mr. Wright returned from calling the cops. In other words, the other place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin? Come on, say something. Dare I ask what really happened that night? Actually, I think we could probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith. A date with destiny! There he crouched, hidden in the secret passageway behind the cupboard, holding his breath, waiting for just the right moment. Then the chance came, and he took it. Arr! But why are phoenixes? Why are phoenixes' fingerprints? Why are phoenixes' fingerprints on the bottle? But his time was soon to come. Mr. Wright went upstairs to call the cops, leaving Shady Smith alone in the hideout with the unconscious dealer. Then our killer stepped down from the secret tunnel and into the hideout. The victim must have heard the cupboard sliding inside. He wheeled his chair around to look and bonked him. After the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the card. He would have, of course, realized the need to destroy the evidence. That single spot of blood told the whole story of the crime. Too bad for him he didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor, and the fact that they were all red! Ah, so beautiful. Well, it seems this trial has taken yet another turn. I'm truly, truly sorry I had to see this day come, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Gavin? Mr. Payne?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor.
The prosecution will continue its investigations. As for Mr. Phoenix Wright, the defendant, he is hereby cleared of all suspicion.
What?
Believe me when I say that I don't believe this is happening, Mr. Gavin, but I'm afraid circumstances call for me to issue a warrant for your arrest immediately. Oh, no need to apologize. I'd rather enjoyed myself. It's not every day you get to witness a legendary attorney's dirty tactics firsthand. Your point, Mr. Gavin? Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked that a person of your caliber would be taken in by such a low-grade parlor trick. Excuse me? The defendant is cleared of all suspicion. This is hardly the time for jokes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright hasn't proven anyone's guilt or innocence here. What he has done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else. And not just anyone else, but me, his own defense attorney. Illegal evidence? Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin, is there still any reason at present to suspect me of wrongdoing? Of course. This bottle, for instance, has your fingerprints on it. Mr. Wright was drinking. How do you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the murder weapon? And not just any fingerprints, am I right, Mr. Payne?
Actually, yes. The fingerprints on the bottle were upside down.
I seem to have recalled this being an issue earlier. The court and this case demand an explanation. I can think of only one reason why one would hold the bottle. Oh, we're not talking about the fingerprints on it? And that is to hit someone in the bottom of the bottle. Ah, I see how you caught fish squirm. You caught fish squirms to the last. Well, Apollo? Yes? Your boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still. Yeah, just like, what? Why would anyone grab a bottle upside down other than to gulp? Don't let him trick you into thinking his explanation is the only legitimate one. Is there really another? Take another look at the court record. I believe you'll find a simple answer there in plain sight. How about you just say the answer in plain words? It would be easy to deliver a verdict with unanswered questions indeed. Well, Mr. Justice? Said that the court in this case demand an explanation. Don't worry, Justice won't leave until justice is done. Oh God! Why the fingerprints on the bottle are upside down? Huh? Wait. What evidence do you have to explain why the fingerprints on the bottle are upside down? Oh my god, okay. Okay, at the end of the crossing here. At this, when you has to point out the location of there's nothing on here about at the end of the cross-examination there are two more choices when you ask Olga's photo? This one? Olga's photo. Can I save right now? I don't think I can. Fuck. Oh, that is... Oh! Okay, it is. Alright. It's actually easier to show you than explain, Your Honor. Place that bottle on the floor, next to your chair. Excuse me? On the floor? Yes, now reach down and pick it up. Without getting out of your chair. Alright. See? You naturally go to pick up the bottle by its neck. With your fingers upside down! Fucking got him! Look at this photograph taken on the night of the murder. The defendant, Mr. Wright, sitting here playing piano, bottles of grape juice on the floor to the side of his piano bench. You would have naturally picked up the bottles upside down several times. Wow, I can't believe it was that simple! Recall our dinner that evening, Kristoff? I was drinking my usual juice then, too. Basically, you used the bottle on the table to do the deed, but then you must have remembered. So you went and picked up one of the bottles from under the piano, and you switched the bottles. That is a giant leap to conclusion, but okay. You took one of Mr. Wright's bottles that made it look like the murder. Order, order, order! What do you have to say for these charges, Mr. Gavin? Fascinating. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection. What? You claim that I switched the bottle? Where is your proof? Proof? Well, that's, as I thought, more baseless conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Your Honor. Your Honor, when you initiated the investigation of the hideout earlier, do you recall I requested an additional investigation? Yes. I have your memo about it here. Retrieve the bottles from under the piano at the Borsbool Club. And here's one of the bottles in question. What are you going to dust that for fingerprints? What? Are you going to dust that for fingerprints too? I would be surprised if anywhere on that, but he's... Scammon probably would have made sure a novice mistake true. That bottle won't bear a trace of anything. Say, Apollo. Yes, sir? Why don't you go ahead and examine that bottle? Why? Just humor. Mr. Wright, that bottle will solve this case once and for all. What? What? That some bottle. Ooh. Oh, in here. Ah, there's something inside the bottle. Yo, squirt. Yo, curled up. Yo, like, what is it? Fucking. What's this? God, it can't be! Recall that unpleasant woman's testimony for a moment, Miss Olga O'Reilly. Yes, our little swindling, Doshkovish, Devikush, well, fuck. That night I played to the card like I was supposed to, and Wright lost the last hand just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him, but the planted card was gone. The trap failed. Wait, this isn't... You're telling me that this is the planted card you disposed of? The one you mentioned in this piece of testimony? I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was a 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game. Disposed where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. The 5 of hearts. This is the card. The bottles were swapped. And the only one who could have done that was the 4th person in the club that night. You, Mr. Christoph Gavin! Oh my god! Yo, that was kind of hot though. That is all. Your Honor, I rest my case. Is this your idea of revenge, Phoenix Wright? Revenge? Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago? My past is like my logic, straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Fine. I'm glad we could have this little tit-for-tat, right?
This is insane! What about me? Don't I get to prosecute anyone?
Shut up, Payne. I believe this time we've finally come to the end of our trial. Mr. Payne, do you have a report for us on Christoph Gavin?
He's admitted everything. We're processing his arrest now.
I see. Still, one has to wonder why you would do such a thing. He didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he?
None of that we know of.
Mr. Wright, have you anything to add? I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on the matter. How about this victim, Mr. Shady Smith? His occupation was listed as traveler, an odd profession to be sure, and that's all we know about him.
I'll arrange a follow-up investigation, Your Honor.
Good. Mr. Wright? Yes? 7 years, and you still haven't lost your touch. Christoph Gavin was a man with much significance for me, both as a friend and a lawyer. He was extremely talented, to be sure. I needed 2 things before I could confront him. The first was a place where no injustice would be tolerated, this courtroom. The second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words, a defense attorney. You, Apollo. Me? This is a dark time for our legal system. A twisting of justice brought on by our very own initial trial system. We have to set it right. Mr. Wright? Our work lies ahead of us, and I, for one, am looking forward to it. Well, this seems like a good time to announce a verdict. Well, fuck it. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, not guilty! Woo! Yeah, I did it! Yeah! That is all. Court is adjourned. Alright, fuck it, let's get out. Let's go TGI Fridays. Ooh. Thanks, Apollo. You came through, just like I thought you would. I'm pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. It was you who cornered Mr. Gav, but the killer. I couldn't have done it by myself. You sensed it too today, didn't you? Your ability? Ability? Yes, a sensitivity I lack. You'll come to understand it soon enough. Wait, I wonder if he means... I have one question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is it true? What's this word I'm getting? What was that, Mr. Wright? You have to find the answers to that question yourself. The answer, right. Today was full of questions without answers. Most of them about Mr. Gavin. What possible reason could we have had to commit a murder? Perhaps you'll learn that in the days to come. Oh, wait, you don't know, do you? Wait, you don't know, do you? This locket is the key. Oh, that reminds me. I met the girl whose picture is in your locket. We gotta keep showing it. Look at her. Look how gorgeous. Look how cute she is. Your daughter, right? That's right. She's my daughter. You know, you were right about this. You were right about this locket. Huh? I took this off his neck the night he died, but it looks like our dear Russian scam artist saw me. So the truth is, this locket really did belong to him. Wait, but that's perjury! You testified! You said that locket was yours! I said no such thing, actually. Huh? I merely said that it was a locket with my daughter's picture inside. A subtle distinction, but a distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth. Wait, but then, why? Why was the victim wearing a locket with a picture of your daughter inside it? Sometimes the straightest path of truth isn't the best one. Give it time. You're still just getting started with your career. Speaking of which, I may be out of the job. I work for Gavin Law Offices, after all. Still can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin get led away in handcuffs. Apollo? Yeah? How about coming to work for me? What? Huh? No, sorry. You mean at the Wright & Co. Law Offices? I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know it. Can't imagine that to be true, but... Wait, but didn't you? You're not a... Oh, I turned in my badge, yeah, but I'm not an attorney anymore. Fuck. That incident 7 years ago. That legendary trial. And at the middle of it all was one man, Phoenix Wright. The case reached its sad conclusion, and he left law for good. Have you ever thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to stand in a court of law, I'm afraid. Didn't you notice in today's trial? There was a single piece of forged evidence. Forged evidence? Oh, what are you talking about? I'm talking about evidence that shouldn't have existed. A naughty magician's trick. One piece of evidence struck me as odd. It's true. It just seemed, well, too perfect. I'll bet this was one of the forged evidence. You mean this, don't you? I got this from your daughter, Mr. Wright. Yeah, that card couldn't have been found at the crime scene. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left, leaving the wrong card in its place, luckily for us. The court can't accept this evidence. It's fraud. I would think you... My verdict was already handed down 7 years ago. You really... Yeah, I forged this card. One look at the crime scene should have told you it wasn't real. But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney. Who's calling themselves an attorney, Apollo? So it's true. The rumor is true. 7 years ago. None of that matters much now, does it? I punched him. It's your story from here on out, Apollo. Perhaps I can help you turn the next page. My office address. Drop it in. Drop in if you like. Mr. Wright. Oh, about your uppercut? Try yelling. Take that! Next time. I find it packs a little more punch. And Apollo, thanks for today. I had a good time. And with that, happy music again. And with that, Mr. Wright walked out the door. That's how my first trial ended. A lot of mysteries went unsolved, and at the time, I had no idea they were all related. Every mystery that day connected by a single thread of logic. I'd find that out soon enough. My name is Apollo Justice, attorney at law, and this is how my story begins. Yeah! Woo! Forged evidence in court! Woo! And that is going to be the end of this episode. That was a whole time of me voicing every single character at once. That was fun though. That was fun to voice all the characters, but oh my god, my voice is hoarse. Oh my god. So the plan is, and I will make community posts of these. I will do a turnabout at least every Thursday, if possible, depending on my like work schedule and stuff. And it would be at noon Central Time, or maybe at a different time. Maybe if I want to get more people to join me to voice characters and stuff. So yeah, thank you very much, McToast, for standing around for this long, and thank you, Nadia, for being my silent moral support. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. And thank you all guys for coming. I hope you guys really enjoyed that, because I